I translate most of what you assign to the.
Sure.
OK.
Yeah.
刚刚 David 讲的就是他的用的干的是还没有 on market， 到5月到6月才 on market 是 CMAX， 它帮助那个设计的那个前面的 tip 非常sensitive， 是 backbone 的很 strong 的，就是那个后面很硬。它那个轮呢是 Team Down Steels 的，它在飞行的时候呢，前面是一般情况下是用10磅的 forecast 门来，如果很 tough 的 condition， 如果是很难掉的时候用8磅8磅，它那个戒个呢我们都没有见过，一会儿 maybe somebody see， 这是很特殊的戒个，它中间有个洞的，不是一般的戒个开，它是很 special 的 later on 这个基本的要点是这里。下次就现在待会说，如果是说到一半 maybe you can 2 minutes then translate for you.
Sure. Okay. No problem. I'll kind of do that with each combo. Now, a lot of drop shotting these days, especially in tournaments, is done on the Great Lakes. So Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, even Lake Simcoe could be considered a Great Lakes, a big body of water. So when you're fishing the deeper water, I actually like a rod that even has more backbone. If you look at this, see this one here? This is a 7.2 called a Great Lakes drop shot rod, and you can see how much backbone there is to this. See how fast that tip is? Lots of power to this. So when you're fishing like, 40, 50, 60 feet of water, you need that power to set the hook. If you have a soft rod, you won't be able to get a good hook set.
就是在大湖里面 ，Lake Erie、Lake Ontario 或 Lake Simcoe 都属于大湖。它钓深水的时候要用这种杆，这种72的，它前面那个 tip 就非常 fast， 但 backbone 要更加 strong。就是在深水的时候，你 set hook 的时候，你没有这种 strong backbone， 你 set hook 就用不上力的。就是在深水用这种 set up。
And again, I'm going to go back to the fluorocarbon thing. I use Fireline, and then I use a fluorocarbon leader. Okay, so the fluorocarbon leader gives me the invisibility factor, so stealth mode. So when it's in the water, it disappears. What's the biggest problem with fluorocarbon? Can you tell me? Biggest problem with fluorocarbon?
Too stiff.
And what's that make? What happens? Too much memory?
Fly out the reel.
Too much memory?
Yeah.
More memory.
Which means too much line twist.
Line twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, line twist.
Not sensitive.
So
No.
this is something that's going to take care of that. This is called a zero twist shot. It's from Stringies. Just came out last year. And this hook pivots. Takes all the twist out of your line when you're drop shotting. Because normally when you drop shot, when you reel it in, you can see the lure comes in like this at you all the way. And the whole time it's twisting up your line. But this takes it all out. And it uses a very sharp hook. It's called a BMC Smart Point. It's got a little number 14 stainless steel crane swivel. And when you use this, there'll be no line twist. You
Is
won't
this
have
something
any
you
problem.
can buy at the store or at the way it's set up?
Yep.
Or you have to add a swivel?
No, it comes as is.
Yeah, I use it last summer from Project.
You used it already?
Yes.
No twist, right?
Yes, it works.
See?
I probably tell
There's a
people.
several together. The hook and the.
It comes all to you buy it right like that. It's got the swivel attached to it and everything already. It's from Stringies. Yeah.
I probably can tell people what's the worst thing for the line twist. Easy to block everything about the line twist.
Well, what's the problem with line twist?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with line twist, well, you're right. Number one, it does weaken your line, okay? You can break it. But it creates all kind, it'll wrap on your guides, it will pop off your spool, create all kinds of, bird's nest. So, it just makes it a lot easier to deal with when you don't have that line twist, right? So, the other thing is I run, you can see I've still got fluorocarbon here. I run a very long leader. I run about a 16 to 20 foot leader. Okay? Some people run shorter. The reason for me running such a long leader is, number one, I'll check my line all the time. And then if I get any nicks in it, I'll retie. So the longer the leader I have, the more time I can retie without having to put on a whole new leader. Okay, so part of it's maybe being a little lazy without wanting to put on a new one. The other thing is when you have a big fish on, there's two places you lose that fish. Okay, when you first set hook into it and you don't get a good hook set and it jumps and it comes off. Oh, too bad. So sad. The other place is right beside the boat. Okay, all of a sudden it's there. Everybody sees a big fish. They get excited. They try to take it too fast, or they hit it with a net or something, and you lose the fish, right? So anytime you put a knot in your line, that's a weak point. That's going to be the weakest point. So now, when I'm fighting a fish beside the boat, the knot that I have joining the fire line and the fluorocarbon, it's in my reel already. So it's already taken out of play. I don't have to worry about that part of it. Okay, so those are the reasons why I like to do it.
这种塞踏呢，它那个主线是用 Fireline 的那个布线，前面是 fluorocarbon 线。fluorocarbon 线的主要不好，它是容易打卷 ，memory 比较大，它那种线的质量比较好。他刚刚讲的，为什么它的 fluorocarbon 用16 to 25 foot， 就是16尺到25尺。一般的我们用的 fluorocarbon 一般都 leader 都10尺左右。6尺，一般我用6尺的。他用这么长的，为什么用这么长的？就是大湖里面，他说，一般上2种情况下容易泡鱼。第一就是你在塞hook的时候，第二种情况呢就是鱼到船边的时候容易泡鱼。鱼到船边属于它为什么用这么很长的这种 leader 呢？鱼到船边的时候，因为这个 fluorocarbon 跟那个主线连接这个是个比较薄弱的地方，它容易断。它如果是在鱼到船边的时候，那个 node 呢已经卷到里面去了，所以这种时候是不容易跑鱼。它以前如果是短的话，如果是鱼到船边，一晒就是往上拿的时候，就那个 node 就断掉了。所以它为什么这也是2个原因，为什么用长的 leader 的原因。
连接部位，你说 node，
这
node
就是它这连接的这个 node，
节点是不是？
对，节点那 fluorocarbon leader 跟那个主线连接地方，它
Most of the time, you talk about the height off the bottom there. Most of the time, I have it usually about 8 to 12 inches. Okay. Yeah, but I would change that depending on how deep I am and how much. Like when you fish, let me put this aside so I can grab one. So if I'm fishing deeper water, okay, and I have a lot of line out there behind the boat, okay, you can see what happens is I may have, okay, let's say I probably have about, 15 inches there, like that. But when I have line out there, and it's like that on the bottom, now how high is it off the bottom?
9 or 10.
Yeah. So that change, you have to adjust for that. You have to understand, if you're fishing vertical, of course you know how high it is. But if you got a lot of line out, you might have to have, 2 feet of line out, 2 feet difference between your weight and your thing, and yet it might only be 6 or 8 inches off the bottom.
So the drop shot usually for the vertical fishing. It's not
That's the idea initially, but it's you can cast it out there. You can drag it. You can have like lots of line out there and drag it as well. It's like I said, it's extremely versatile. It's a lot more versatile than most people would give it credit for. A lot of people would think it's for, deep water, clear water, vertical, but you can do so much more with it.
You just say you ever use this one in shallow water, sometimes 2 feet.
Yep.
So how do you do that?
So you just if I'm fishing as shallow as 2 feet,
Because you have to be in distance. You cannot just.
So I mean, it might, sometimes that's all I have. Sometimes that's all the difference I have. Same thing. If you have the other thing you can